No, not the internet.
I've
What have
only
you
heard
done?
bad things
What have you
about
done this?
it. Because I am used to making horrible mistakes, and I do not learn from them. It's why I went into education. For the money. Wait. Hello, and welcome to Critical Recovery. This is a 5th edition homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash, and I will be your DM for the evening. Tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people. Chris, Ellie, Eo, Jen, and what happened last week?
Talia's been paid.
We got in a dragon and
Yes.
found a nagpa.
Yes, I remember now. Okay.
Well, some of you got
And
in the
open
dragon. Some of you...
negotiations.
There might
Sorry?
be negotiations.
Oh, yes.
Negotiations were offered as a thing. And after you said, sure, let's negotiate, you decided, well, let's wait 8 hours to negotiate. Let's all hop in this Liamon's tiny hut instead.
Wait, did we?
No,
Oh,
you
no.
did not.
Okay.
That was something that was declared that would be taking place, but the session ended with, okay, yeah, sure, let's talk about this. So, we are going to start up right where we left off with Zuda beginning to cast Liamon's tiny hut, and it is counterspelled. No you don't. We talk, or we don't. None of us trying to wait 8 hours to plan and get an upper hand or anything. Besides, what about your friend in that big mechanical thing back there? You want them to sit back there for 8 hours just waiting? I don't think so. And you two, over there. I see you skulking. Come forward, let's see you.
I walk forward. What's
Okay.
his name again? Because I know this.
Horrobin.
Yes.
Your characters would know the name.
Yep.
Talia
Yeah.
definitely would know the name.
Oh, yeah.
Talia walks forward. Hello, Horrobin. Been a while.
It has. By the way, is your sword out?
No.
That's odd, because your sword is out.
What?
Your sword is out. You have drawn your sword.
No, I haven't.
It's
Yes,
fabulous.
You have definitely drawn that sword. What's the sword's name again?
The Raven's Queen's Wrath.
Yes, you have drawn your sword.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
You feel...
What I feel
You
arm.
feel like you are standing in a waterfall. There is a lot of power that is moving around you, almost through you. No, definitely through you and through the sword. And you're just here for the show. You don't have any say in this. It's happening incredibly quickly, but time sort of slows down for you during the experience. So you're in that moment where you're like, oh, well, this is happening now, and I'll let you decide whether or not you like it. And when it's done, you have no spells. I don't mean you don't have any spell slots. I mean you have no spells. You have no cantrips. You have no extra warlock abilities. You are as
Talia
you
the
were
half-dragon.
before you took the oath.
Okay.
And in front of you, for everyone to see, is a very tall, inky black, Vanta black, if you will, form, where if you look at the silhouette, it appears to be covered in feathers.
I just look around at everyone. I look around at I look over at Horrobin. The lady will see you now, dear.
No one here knew that a nagpa could go several shades paler,
Oh, wow.
but you may now process that information away for later. This happens for a little bit, and then Horrobin's face turns bright red. You did this! I served you for centuries! I did my penance. I was unwavering. And then, after one thing that wasn't even my fault, you abandoned me. I sent adventurers after me. I had not a day of peace because of you. You found me. Good for you. Strike me down. What good am I? You'll find out soon enough what I know about this group. And there is a silence afterwards. Horrobin is just breathing heavily, face still red, glaring up at this form. And the form doesn't say anything. But there is the sound of feathers rustling. I didn't have a choice. Coleslaw. They wanted to be a lich. Didn't work. They didn't choose this. I didn't choose to be bound to Coleslaw. Coleslaw didn't choose to be bound to me. And he keeps coming back. I can't lay him to rest. And there's another silence. Yes, Archbeth, Coleslaw. That is what Horrobin decided to name this creature, which is usually called a bone claw, but Horrobin decided to name it Coleslaw. There is another rustling of feathers. I did ask. He's got no free will. More silence. I accept your bargain.
Aaron,
Yes.
do I know anything she's saying to him?
No.
Okay.
Which I imagine is somewhat frustrating for Talia right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, your patron, your deity is like right there, and you're hearing nothing. When Horrobin says, I accept your bargain, they get down on one knee. Or at least it looks like they do. They're kind of like hunched over and lumbering, but it looks like they've gone down a little bit. And they bow their head. Don't expect me to serve silently. It's not in my nature. The large black form moves over to the skeletal monstrosity that apparently is named Coleslaw. Does not resemble a cabbage in any way. I suppose if you threw a cabbage at Coleslaw, they'd be able to make Coleslaw. But never mind about that. And a form that looks something like an arm, maybe a wing, maybe both, reaches out and places itself gently on Coleslaw's shoulder. And then Coleslaw turns to dust and blows away. The
Is
form
there
turns...
still a bound to black form? Okay.
Yeah, the form turns and looks at the entire party. No matter how spread out, you all feel like it's looking at you directly.
Not sure what to say. I'm sorry.
Do you say that out loud?
Yep.
The form seems to nod at you.
Ryan nods back.
It turns towards Horrobin.
Bargain's a bargain. I'll share what I know. They better not try to kill me again.
There's a rustling of feathers. And then the form shoots forward and envelops Horrobin. Just Horrobin's there one moment, and then it's just the form, wrapped around where he was. And then the form rushes in a different direction and wraps around Talia. And then it's gone. Talia, you've got your spells back and all of your powers.
Is Horrobin still there?
Define still there.
No.
There is a form there. It's not an anthropomorphic vulture. It's still wrapped in rags, but it's human? Question mark? They look old.
Talia walks up to him.
They look very old. They have wrinkled skin, a nose that is very beak-shaped. It sticks out larger than a human nose really is supposed to. The ears are quite small. There is not a single scrap of hair on their head.
Talia kneels down in front of him. Horrobin, dear. Any response?
That was unexpected.
You're lucky she left you alive.
Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand at all. Well, yes, that part, you're right. But you don't know the half of it, my dear. She took away the curse.
The thing that keeps you from inventing things.
Well, that too.
The thing that makes him ageless.
The thing that made me a nagpa. All of it. That was a punishment. I was serving penance for my crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm human again, such as it is. But this is going to take some getting used to.
How old does he look, year-wise, roughly, give or take?
I mean, you're an elf. He's a human. It's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
I'm a half-elf, though.
True. You would guess, like, depending on if he was taking care of himself or not, anywhere between 70 to 90, maybe.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I should start off saying what I noticed. You're not all there.
I mean, mentally...
We get that a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard this before.
That I get.
What? No, that's not what I meant. Not what I meant.
Then be more specific.
Okay, well, I first noticed it with you,
And he points at Talia.
we've met before. I remember you.
Yes.
In the
Kenku
mountain.
village.
No, it wasn't the mountains. It was in a tree.
It was in
Sorry.
a tree in a Kenku village with
Yes.
you
Gosh
telling
dang
about
it.
Kenku that the Raven Queen was evil and out to get them.
Well, it was that, or have one of them realize the Raven Queen was out to get me, and I didn't really want to have to deal with that. But
Mhm.
bygones be bygones, I've clearly been forgiven. I wasn't expecting that, but hey, a paradigm shift. I'm for it. But I do remember you. There's a lot less of you now than there used to be.
Well, yes.
We have lost some weight.
Death does that to you, dude.
What? What now?
I love that reaction.
We're all resurrected.
Oh, I was going to leave them all confused for a minute. It's less fun.
Well, apparently I'm
Sorry.
supposed to help you, so leaving me confused doesn't help me help you very well.
No, but it gives me some fun.
Well, I suppose I deserve that, but never mind. So, here's the thing. Have you ever heard a gnome ramble on for a good half hour or so?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can't say I have.
Not sure, really.
It's a great way to fall asleep, just saying. But eventually they start to say stuff like, nature abhors a vacuum. If you have an empty space, stuff will want to try to fill that space. And it's mostly true. If you have a dry sponge and you put it in a container of water, all the parts of the sponge that aren't filled with water will get filled with water. You're not all there. There's parts of you missing, not physical, but something's missing.
So,
So
you're
where's the
suggesting that
sponge?
I think we're the sponge.
But
No.
we've got...
Sounds
Exactly.
like we're the water.
No. Well, yeah, sort of. There's some of you that's water, yes, but some of that water got squeezed out. When you were
So
up
part of
there,
us-
and Horrobin points at the spire off in the distance. And I know you were up there, because you brought some of it back down here with you. And that's not the only thing. There's more that you've brought with you. Definitely isn't you. Well, I hope it's not you. None of you is a warlock sworn to the elder gods from the dark spaces between the stars, are you? Speak up. It's the law.
I
You
just
got to
look
tell me
over-
if you are.
I just look over at Morley.
No. I don't know about the dark spaces with stars.
Okay.
Can I do an insight check on that?
All right, he's not that
You
kind
may-
of warlock.
You may do an insight check on that.
If I am, I would very much like someone to tell me.
That was a 19.
I'm pretty sure if I'm anything, it's the opposite of a warlock.
So Morley would need to do persuasion or deception depending on if he's lying or not.
Go ahead, Morley. Roll the one that you believe is applicable.
What was it? What were the two options?
Persuasion or deception.
Okay.
If we say out loud which you're picking, then
yes. You don't know.
then you're
Okay. I picked one.
The target number is 19.
Oh, I'm 21.
Oof.
yeah. So Morley gives what you believe is an honest answer, or Morley's really good at lying.
Okay.
Okay.
Just squint
Well,
my eyes a little.
you got some of that too. There's even a bit of, not mistaken, a bit of essence of Kraken.
Wait.
Just a bit, not much. Mostly dragon.
Oh, it's the thing we thought. It's the thing we thought. The dragon made of knot.
I turn to Coptog and send him to go get Fava and bring her in. Without the giant dragon. Probably won't need it.
You hear a, oh. I mean, let's face it, if you got to pilot a robotic dragon, would you want to get out of it?
No, under no circumstances. But it's a good idea at this point.
Especially if you used up all your spell slots to pilot it.
She's a
no.
warlock. She'll be fine.
I mean, yes, she's also a warlock. All she needs is a short rest. But forget about that for a moment. A very dejected Thava approaches with an angry-looking Vex sitting on her shoulder and trying to look menacing at Horrobin. And then realizes Horrobin isn't a vulture and looks very confused. So I was listening. No need to catch me up. Well, except for this story. Was this about everyone here being a sponge? No, not you.
Because you weren't there. So we fought a dragon made of knot, and also a kraken priest or something, and the dragon was kind of a portal to a horrible other dimension or something.
The dragon was the portal and turned into a dragon to fight us.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
Yes, where I agree with what you're saying. If he's saying that we have some kraken in us, That was long before that.
So, I think the weird portal thing and the fellow who was trying to use the portal to mess everything up might have infected us with something.
It might also have been the temples.
That's what explains
Weren't the
dragon,
temples
maybe.
to the god that everyone forgot about?
At least one of them was. Yes.
What, Tiamat?
Yes, that one.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah, I remember forgetting about that. Wasn't fun.
I didn't forget. I wasn't here for that.
Lucky you.
Mm.
Actually, no, hold on. Back
Also-
up. Retcon. Horrobin wasn't here for that either.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
no, wait. No, back up again. Retcon the retcon. Horrobin was here for that because Horrobin came over before Malathomax was killed.
So yeah, he was
Oh.
So
definitely.
Horrobin would have definitely been here for that.
Yeah.
So, some of this, there is something. You did absorb something, Fava. I remember you, too. I remember your old boss. Your old boss, too, for a little while. Then you certainly left in a hurry. Beat the alternative.
You are one for jumping ship and going to whichever entity serves you at the time, don't you?
I'm one for not dying.
Mm.
Works pretty well, usually. From the sound of it, you could use some practice. Anyway, you've all got a little bit of Malathomax resonance in you, too.
How?
Fava
I mean-
sighs.
What? Look, I have an arcana of -1. Someone else has got to take this.
I
I
was
don't know if this is
told to
magic.
have you investigate Malathomax's old lair. And I sent you under that lake. And you spent some time down there. Remember that tree you told me about?
Mm-hmm.
That you broke?
Oh,
Oh, right.
come
The tree.
on.
Wait, is the tree the dragon?
It could have been a... Look, Malathomax was possibly a god by that point.
They were calling the tree Mal Jr. or something.
Oh, that's
When
right.
you start
Well,
talking about gods, a lot of the rules that we follow don't apply anymore.
And people wonder why I didn't want to be a paladin.
Okay, but I'm going to bring the point up again. What about the fact that he's saying essence of the Kraken, which again is literally when we all started.
I was
Suggested.
figuring that came from the portal thing and the priest thing, and
A priest wouldn't have enough to spread to all of you. They barely have any kraken in them at all, really. It's mostly cosmetic.
but if we theoretically fought and killed a portal to close it, and it theoretically was breathing lots of stuff on us with a real weird dragon breath thing.
That would not be dragon essence. I don't know of any dragons that do that. It'd be something
Yeah,
else
it
made to
wasn't a
look
real
like a dragon,
dragon.
maybe.
It was a
It was a
portal thing.
gravity field.
That's
Thal's
not a
already said
dragon.
it.
No, it just looked like one.
Yeah. And anyway,
Wait,
that wouldn't be Malathomax.
Yeah,
Wait.
no, but it might be the Kraken thing.
Wait.
Are you saying we're all
wait.
sponges for dead god bits now?
Oh, sounds like it. That's what you're telling me.
Wait,
Thanks,
wait,
I hate it.
wait. Thala's already said it.
Wait,
When it comes to gods, there are little to no rules that apply to us. We were
we're magnets for dead god bits.
So, who... Oh my gosh, that's another bird pun. I'm gonna have to get those out of my system. Who would want you to be sponges for dead gods?
the one that brought us back.
Because there's someone she lost.
What do we know about Argonia? May I do a religion check?
You may.
I remember she mentioned, or someone mentioned her brother in the initial session 0.
I think the players know about her brother primarily.
No, it came up in character. I remember that.
I
Oh, okay.
It definitely
16?
came up, but it was a while ago. So with
Is
the
there a-
16... I'm sorry?
I'm not going to interrupt for this.
Okay. With a 16, this is not a very high difficulty roll for this. Argonia is one of the more prevalent deities in Circulus, not so much on the land, but among sailors. She is considered the goddess of oceans, waves, and chance, and she, until relatively recently, had a brother, Jarl, who was the god of oceans, waves, and chaos. They were sort of twin siblings, and Jarl was considered the more evil of the two, and followers of Jarl would pretend to be followers of Argonia, but they would turn their symbol upside down. The symbol was a ship in the ocean, and when it turned upside down, it looked like a ship that was sinking. When you were initially recruited, in that place where you could only refer to things as past tense because you remembered things happening, but you never actually were experiencing them happening, a not place, Argonia told you that she wanted to make sure the Kraken would never be able to come back because it was the Kraken who had consumed her brother and made him go away. Is there anything else you want to know?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So, Argonia, you said?
Yes.
That's weird. I mean, resurrection doesn't really sound like Argonia's portfolio. She's not exactly a goddess of life and death. And Horrobin gets up and walks over to Talia and peers very close to her face while rubbing his chin. Nope. No, I don't see any sign of Argonia in you at all.
Good.
Well, maybe. Maybe not. Why would a deity bring you back and not leave any of her own essence with you to help guide you? That was technically kind of my job. Good work at that.
Because if they left their own essence, it would take too much space in the jar.
And why would they want so many jars?
I look at Father. Did you know any of this was a thing?
No, the story I was given was the same story she gave you. She brought me back first. I was given missions to do on my own for quite some time, mostly going after followers of Jarl that weren't really following Jarl anymore because it wasn't Jarl, it was the Kraken. And then she said, I have a bigger mission.
Where did
Grab
she
a boat.
send you?
Followers of Gnarl, but it wasn't Gnarl anymore.
No, the Kraken absorbed Jarl.
Him. Like, oh crud!
Where did she?
Crud. Oh crud! Oh crud!
What a great note for Cindy to come in on. Hi, Cindy.
Yep.
I said,
Hi, you're apparently not killing Horrobin.
It's all hitting the fan.
This is upsetting considering my icon in Discord right now.
Thava, where did she send you on your first missions? Where? Not for who, where?
Pretty much anywhere. I took out a few pirate ships. There was an issue with various orc clans that are still on the main continent of Circulus, where a bunch
Any
of
locations of major note where major events happened? Something that would potentially turn you into a jar?
No, matter of fact, most of it I was out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. You're the trial run.
That is actually adding a bit more reason for me to be furious than I already had. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Fury is going to help when we murder a god.
Not if we can't think.
I did not sign up to be a jar for divinity, especially not for some kind of god resurrecting coriander straining scheme. I am not here to strain god spaghetti for resurrection.
Long and short of it, Molly, we've been resurrected by Argonia to go to these, from what it sounds like, go to these locations and absorb energy to resurrect her brother, potentially? What happens to us, I have no idea, but...
Yeah, you'd probably be atomized. Honestly speaking, I'm surprised you survived the Raven Queen manifesting. She used you as a portal. Don't see that every day.
She chose me for a reason, Horrobin. You should know that.
Oh, I know. Probably why she gave you that sword, too.
Yes, I was looking quite forward to putting it in your chest cavity, but...
Sorry to disappoint.
Nah, it happens.
Better luck next time. So, and Horrobin claps his hands. Who wants to kill a god?
I'm terrified.
I'm in. Talia just looks beyond rage right now.
Or, better yet, we got some options. We're gonna have to do some research. I don't know everything. This might come as a shock, but I don't. But I know someone who knows more than me.
No, I'm not shocked.
If you're willing to go on a little journey.
somewhere where there's not been a major calamity, so we absorb more weird stuff?
Not recently,
What
and
do you
it's
mean
moved
recently?
away since then. How do you, all of you, feel about flying ships?
Oh, let's
How do you
have
feel
another
about
try at him.
flying cities?
Probably less likely to come alive and try to kill us.
Are you talking about
You'd be
Skelvar?
surprised.
No, not Skelvar. I mean, they've
I was
got
going
a
to
lot of
say Skelvar.
information, but they haven't been around long enough. Haven't been to as many places. Haven't been involved with as many wars of gods against gods. I know a thing about that. Of course, it's also how I originally got cursed. Probably shouldn't talk about that too much. Don't want to give you any ideas. And for some reason, Morley, you don't know for sure that Horrobin was signaling you out when Horrobin says don't want to give you any ideas, but you feel like you're being called out. You don't have any idea why.
It's all confusing.
Do I need to remind you where I'm from?
Actually, I don't know where you're from.
Wasn't that brought up last time? It's been way too long for me to remember.
It's been a while.
It's been a few years. I've done some research since then, got a lot of stuff going around inside this head, and it's not as vast as it once was. And yes, I realize I'm just giving you more information and more ammunition, but no, whatever. In any case, there is a library on a flying city, and it's full of stuff that might be able to help us. I can take all but one of you. Talia, how do you feel about leaving your imp behind?
The imp disappears.
Right. So, if you're not willing, you're going to be stuck here alone. If you are willing, we're going to a flying city. Who's with me?
Let's go.
We go to the flying city. Yeah.
I literally clicked my fingers and the imp disappeared.
This done.
I am
Yes, but
willing
that-
enough.
Okay, so for Talia, yes, you literally clicked your fingers and made the imp disappear, but that was one person. And you've already threatened Horrobin's life since Horrobin got forgiven by the Raven Queen. So, Horrobin might not be going anywhere with just you. No offense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I
with
mean,
that,
if needs be, there is a dragon I can fly somewhere.
yes, there is. Although it's not really made for long distance travel. So Horrobin casts teleport, which is of great dismay to Zuda, who Ellie has been sending messages in Discord saying, while this conversation is going on, I'm going to build a small campfire in a clearing, and once that's set up, I'm going to make some coffee, and while the coffee's brewing, I'm going to set up Liamon's tiny hut as a ritual, including everyone present, including Thava and Horrobin, and now we're just going to leave that tiny hut and go on a magical, mystical journey to a flying city where nothing ever goes wrong.
Nothing's ever went wrong in this city.
Well, not recently.
It's okay as long as I get to keep the coffee.
You take your coffee with you. You arrive.
May I have a to-go cup, please?
You arrive with the percolator in your hand and an empty cup in the other.
Yes, I will distribute coffee.
So we have not yet been playing for a full hour, but I think this is an excellent point to have a short break and then come back and have our little adventure in the Flying City.
Yes.
Which, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned, it was made by gnomes.
So all the doorways are really small.
Yeah.
Pressing buttons now. All right, we're back from outer space. Wait, no, that's the Cobalt game.
It's a different one.
And they're still technically in space. Actually, canonically, right now, they are in space in a sealed box that is moving away from anything else they could consider safe in space. I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine. At least they're not trapped with, like, Mo in the same box with them. And definitely not too GIF. Definitely not too GIF. They'd use up too much oxygen. Gorga dislikes this, even though Gorga has no idea what's going on for that particular group. That
Sure.
Gorga dislikes this is now entering my lexicon of just things that I want to say.
I did not intend for Gorga to be such a negative character, but it fits what she's experienced, so.
Also, one could argue that a lot of the stuff that Gorga dislikes
most people in that same situation would also probably dislike it.
I designed Talia to be a negative answer.
In any case, you appear to be in an office. There is a lot of, like, dark-stained wood for all the furniture, lots of shelves, lots of cases. There's an ornate writing desk with piles of paper stacked neatly in various cubbies and everything. But it is just the 8 of you. I am including Vex in this. So, hope we don't get considered to be intruding. I had to pick a spot that was most likely not going to be occupied, but also that I knew well. Otherwise, there would have been the opportunity for a miscast of the spell.
You called this place a library. Don't library normally like visitors? I thought that was kind of the purpose of a library.
Oh, yes. If you have a library card, which I actually do. I have it on my phone. Oh, yep. Here it is. I have it. But that's not the issue. The issue is you don't want to materialize inside somebody else. It gets very messy.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes. I've had it happen a few times. Nothing of value was lost, but the cleaning bills. In any case, this office is very rarely occupied by living beings, so I figured it would probably be okay.
Zuda pulls her hood up and pulls her cloak around herself.
Well, seeing as we didn't materialize inside anyone and no one's yelling at us yet, that's good
Ellie,
as we can hope for. Thank you.
Remind me what that cloak does.
Absolutely nothing. You have no memory of that cloak doing anything.
I'm asking player to player, not character. Because I know it does something. I just can't remember.
It does something.
Makes people forget the conversation they had.
Oh, ironic.
Or rather,
You remember the person before you really remember the person.
Ironic.
I can't remember is exactly the intent of the cloak.
Yeah.
It is how you managed to convince a particular lawyer that you had hired him. With that said, there is a door out of this office. It looks like a traditional office door in a very swanky office where it's made out of the same stained wood that you see everything else made out of. There is a large frosted glass panel in the upper half of the door. And it was just like an off-white, but it has suddenly switched to a very violent-looking, fluctuating yellow, orange, and red. Like something is on fire on the other side.
Who dare disturbs my domain?
A group of voracious readers?
What have you brought in tribute?
Dunno. Guess we can discuss
Wait, I might
payment later.
An old human male?
You said you had a library card. Why didn't you present that?
The door bursts open, and there is a flaming skull on the other side.
Huh.
No, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Oh, okay. This is.
Why do you
Actually,
think
I don't
a
think it's
pitiful
that
human
new.
male would appease me?
Are you the librarian?
The skull's flames change color to, they were a lot of yellow, orange, and red, but now they've faded and shrunk down. It's maybe just a little bit of yellow. Oh, well, hello, how are you doing? I'm the head librarian.
Wow, that
Sorry,
you
we're a
changed-
little lost.
You are the librarian. Okay.
You literally changed on the dime.
Dang
That was
it,
quite
Crash.
The head librarian is literally a head.
Yes, floating
Yep.
and talking to us here.
The best part is it's not even my joke. This is built into the original source book.
Yeah, I remember.
I have to say, you did not waver at all. Usually I have people needing a change of wardrobe after I introduce myself. You did splendidly. Congratulations, all of you. Now,
Thank you.
who are you again?
Uh-huh.
My name is Zuda.
We're a ragtag band of adventurers.
Wonderful to meet you. And Zuda, you can take the hood off. That won't work on me.
I'm certain it won't, but I feel safer with it on.
If you wish. Anyway, pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is... DM checks his notes. This is I'm
funny name.
no. In all seriousness, I have it written down. There we go. Matazumi. For For some reason, I wanted to say Montezuma, which is not the same name.
No, but I understand where you came by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a couple syllables off, so I can understand the head connection.
And I've said one of those more often than the other. My name is Matazumi. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And, you. The head floats its way over to Horrobin. I want to say you look familiar.
You know me.
Do I? Do tell.
You remember my research project on weather fluctuations and hags?
Oh. You know, there are some very interested people in finding you.
I'm aware.
They would be very interested to know that you were here.
I'm aware. I'm also aware of a certain habit that a certain individual has for very flammable books that they just enjoy reading so much without assistance.
Well, it's a shame that I just missed you.
I thought so.
Zuda is not sure what a nun's outfit has to do with the library.
Anyway, I imagine this is not a social call. What can I do for you?
We came here.
We're looking for particular information.
There's the shock that everyone has after I make my first appearance. You've forgotten everything you had in mind to ask me when you came here. Oh, this makes my day.
Personally, I was casting a ritual when I was... so...
We kind of got rushed here in a hurry. Horrobin, I think you're the only one here who knows what we're looking for.
But I'm the NPC. I'm not supposed to lead the whole conversation.
Well, then you gotta tell us what we're looking for.
Never mind. None of you is a member of the Church of the Fourth Wall. I guess you wouldn't know. Okay, so, here's the thing. We want to kill a god.
Yeah, I know what department that book's in. All right, let's go. And the head floats its way out of the office.
Okay, I guess we
Libraries are way more useful than I ever realized.
Gorga's mouth is just kind of hanging open at the revelation that to kill a god is a department that they just have.
Yeah, there's that.
My dear, this is the most incredible library ever constructed by mortals, even if it's not run by one.
I don't know. I've heard pretty good things about a library made by a little lizard person.
Oh, yeah. Marwise is pretty cool. But, she sort of spread all of her books out over a very large area. And I think more than one plane of reality. I haven't done too much research in that area. But, this place, they put all their books in one spot. Far easier to research.
And the floating head leads you down what you would possibly consider on a map to be very narrow hallways. They're actually aisles in a very maze-like configuration. Every now and then you go past various either patrons or librarians, none of whom seem to give Matazumi, I'm still getting the name wrong. If I come up with the name myself, I still get it wrong. In this case, the name has come up for me, so I'm also getting it wrong. None of them give Matazumi or the people following Matazumi a second glance. This is normal for them. Right, here we are. Deities and research. So, you want to kill a god. Well, there's a few ways to do it, and one of the books floats off the shelf and onto a nearby lectern and plops down, and the pages sort of flip through. You get the sense that Matazumi is in fact controlling this, as opposed to the book animating on its own. Not unlike certain cartoon characters being able to move things in spite of them not having hands.
Sorry, and you're not concerned or questioning the fact that we have said that we want to kill a god? That's just not happening?
I'm a floating skull from the abyss.
And we're
bound
a ragtag
to
band of
service for
adventurers.
100 years to maintain this library after a summoning ritual went poorly for the summoner. I really don't care at all if you kill a god. Kill 100 of them.
Okay, works for me. But
there
if we are looking for ways to kill a god, then I gotta say that...
I love how my brain tried to listen to both of those conversations at the same time. Which means I have not heard either of them. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Morley and Brian at the same time were asking basically whether there were 100 gods on Circulus.
Gods up there. That's a big number.
And
Okay.
Gorga was just saying that we're probably not up for killing a god by stabby means, so we need more subtle or subterfuge ways?
Oh, well, if you want to go the stabby method, there are actually a few ways to do that. You just need to
Really?
there's a lot to go about before you can just do the stabby. Stabby is not the first step. Not that I've ever tried myself, being that, I ain't got no body. But nobody cares. So, to answer the question about how many gods there's far over 100 gods here on Circulus. This seems to be like baby god central. There's gods all over the place. Most of them are very local phenomena, not very powerful. Now, are you going for a really big god or a really little god?
Big, but not one of the new ones.
So, I think I might be able to give you some perspective. You know who Timor is? Goddess of luck. Mostly Faerun. Nothing to do with here. Yeah, she tried to come over here and absorb Argonia's portfolio. They're quite similar. The other thing happened. Oh, so big god. Okay. So, let's see. To summarize the Cliff's Notes version, the most common way the gods meet their demise is they run out of followers. So, simplest solution would be to just kill anyone who follows this particular deity. However, since they're a bigger deity, chances are no one has time for that except for maybe me, and I'm bound to the library, and I'm more of an information provider than a go out and get things done type of fiend. So, forgive me.
Also, that would include a friend of mine, so let's not do that.
Okay. You could also convince them all to convert to another deity. How's your persuasion?
Bad.
A little better on the deception, but I can definitely persuade if needs be.
Okay.
I am not a preacher.
That's a shame.
I can pretend to be.
That's
I
better.
can definitely pretend to be.
You could also try to use a variety of rituals to make the god mortal.
Oh, I like that one.
Ideally, you convince them to assume a corporeal form, but, gods just don't manifest in the material plane willy-nilly. You usually will never see one choose to do that.
Talia just starts laughing.
Was it something I said?
Yes, dear. Continue.
Okay. Anyway, if they do manifest, it's something that you might see once in 100 years. They usually don't have the power. Even the big gods don't tend to have the power to do that very frequently, and their power is greatly diminished afterwards. So that would be a point in your favor if you could then go to the plane that they reside on and then do the whole stabby thing. Well, that is the next thing. If you find the plane they reside on and can travel there, and you're powerful enough, the stabby thing. This is what we're calling it now, right?
I think that one's not an option for weird magic reasons.
Yeah, let's say that planar trans travel is not a thing right now. Let's say that.
Well, yes and no.
To me and yes and
It's
no.
not an option to there for weird magic reasons, I think.
I'm not sure how much these characters know about that.
All we know is that it's not working. That's just that's
We
why I
were
said.
told that it... No. We were told that people can't find that one because it's in the past.
What?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, I just missed 3 comments from Bolthra.
We were told that going to there isn't an option because it's in the past. In our session 0, we were told that.
Oh.
I have a good memory for weird, insignificant details, okay? I have a
Comes in handy.
terrible memory for anything important. but I remember
where you were
weird,
going.
Insignificant
I was talking about interplanar just for the planets locked
Yes.
off thing.
And
Oh yeah,
to
no,
address
that's not what I'm talking about at all.
and to address both of these,
Are you
where
talking
you
about
were,
that pub thing that was almost going to exist but never quite, that we were stuck in?
that was a
Yeah,
pocket
weird
dimension.
magic
That
reason.
wasn't Argonia's realm.
That's not Argonia's
I
realm.
have a -1 to Arcana. I don't know that.
That would be true, yeah.
As far as Ryan's concerned, they think that's Argonia's dimension.
Fair.
Yeah. So, yes, there is a bit of a kerfluffle where extraplanar travel, for the most part, is a no-go. But that's not to all planes. That's to most planes. The planes that reside outside of this particular realm, no go. The planes that overlap it, there's still a bit of leeway to move back and forth. Like, say, the ethereal plane. Now, I don't know how far you'd get after you travel to the ethereal plane. After all, there's a lot of big things in there, far bigger than you'd expect, and I think some of you expect a lot. But it's a thing. We'll put that on the maybe pile. How about that? There's also, well, the gods that don't go away because they lose all their followers usually go away because we just talked about it briefly. Their portfolio gets absorbed by another deity, either an up-and-coming or one that was already pretty large and just came in and took over everything.
All right. I hate to say it, but I think deicide probably shouldn't be the plan A. But
I mean, if we could
problem
find
we have
a
is-
deity equivalent of poison, I'm still game for it.
Yeah, I like that.
How about we talk about the problem we have a little bit?
I'm all ears. Well, I would be.
We need to find a way to not get filled up by bits of dead god and use the spaghetti strainers for resurrections of
Thus, this flaming skull, this fiend from the abyss, just stares at you.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Don't look
Or
at
at
me.
least
None of
we
us exactly
figure in some
volunteered for
kind
this.
of resurrection scheme.
Ragtag
is
bands
trying
of
to-
adventurers live such interesting lives. When you retire, assuming you live, you need to write a memoir. Send me a copy.
How much you paying?
Oh, this library's loaded.
Then I'll consider it.
So,
Anyway, we're being used in some kind of weird resurrection scheme to unabsorb a god.
So essentially, you're being used as batteries to store tremendous amounts of essence from a variety of beings in order to have that coalesce into a form that will be shaped to form a god that somewhat recently, by deity standards, became a not deity.
How does
Pretty
this
much.
work? Okay.
Probably.
I don't
The
know.
long and the short.
Yeah, we were told a couple of ragtag band of adventurers killed it previously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've read those stories.
Or rather killed the one that absorbed
Yeah.
the other one.
Just to clarify for Sunday, we are going to kill Argonia. I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if you missed that. When you
Yeah,
weren't
I think Cindy missed that.
I did miss it, but I picked up since, so
Okay.
Well, there may be an attempt. Well, other than the killing all the followers or converting all the followers, which, big God, hard to do, as a ragtag band of adventurers, I'd give you a 1 in a million chance of doing any of the other options. However, as a ragtag band of adventurers, 1 in a million chances happen every 1 in 7 times.
I don't think that's how numbers work, but okay, we'll go with it.
You realize this is a city mostly populated by gnomes, right?
So the maths isn't real maths, it's no maths. Got it.
Yes. It's a 1 in a million chance that this city should be able to remain in the air. Why did the one Genasi over there turn a rather, 3 or 4 shades paler?
because I wasn't bored of Genasi and just leave it at that.
Don't worry, if we did stop flying, we'd land safely. We're over the ocean.
That's not
Maybe
how.
I
don't
hate
tell
you.
her that.
I hate you. I
no.
hate you. I hate you.
This is going to be a problem now.
Well, we're not in
Yeah,
the ocean. We are safely above it by several miles, I think.
The ocean is where I originally died. Can we stop talking about it?
Yes.
think
And
we
that's more
might
information
all
than I
need-
normally reveal, but I want to stop talking about it.
Okay, I will
I-
stop talking about that very large body of water underneath us. Instead,
I just
But-
Bill Gorgas. I just calm down, dear. You're good, okay? You got this.
Anyway, so I don't know if we need to kill a god. We just need to not be used to resurrect one, and we can worry about a god being really mad at us about that later. One thing at a time, yeah?
Seems to me the easiest way to solve one problem is to solve the other. You're all sponges, except for you.
Thank you.
I wasn't talking about you.
Thank you. I'm confused now.
Never mind. Point is, you've all got a lot of power in you right now. That power, as far as we know, was going to be used to bring back a dead god. What if we do that?
Didn't you say we would probably be atomized? Isn't that your words?
Well, if you absorbed some more power, was that your last stop?
And Horrobin looks over at Thava. No, it wasn't. We had a long list of places to go to.
Right. So chances are there was not really going to be much care in how much you absorbed. And you'd probably be all giddy about how powerful you'd become, so you wouldn't have noticed. What if we use it up now, let it out a bit more in a controlled manner, and brought back a different god?
Which god?
I
look at him.
I'm not very religious.
Curiously. No, come on. Your plan.
Right now, I am a devout follower of the Raven Queen. May she not change her mind about lifting my curse and not killing me.
Mm-hmm. Bear in mind, you've literally got a follower of the Raven Queen as your conscience by your side right now.
Oh, definitely. I thought I was yours, but never mind.
No.
What would we need to focus?
Good question. Montezuma?
That's not even close to my name.
Matazumi. Zumi, my old pal. What about resurrecting a god?
The book that Matazumi was looking at closes, floats off of the lectern, and goes back on the shelf where it was. A different book floats off of the shelf and lands on a lectern and opens up. How big a god are we talking about?
Not very.
Well, if the idea is we're trying to dissipate energy we've already accidentally gathered, then I'd say the minimum god required to absorb that energy.
We're talking about a specific god now, Gorga.
Which one?
Well, how many gods died when the other realms started colliding with this place? What gods no longer are that aren't crazy?
So, you know how when I get asked different questions, I pull a different book off the shelf?
Yes.
I don't have enough lecterns.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, gods. But yes.
Yes.
Look. If one had a specific god in mind, what sort of things would be required?
It depends. You seem to have a specific god in mind. How did it die?
Got schlorped.
What happened to
I have never heard the absorption process be called schlorped before. I like the mouth sounds of that. Schlorped. I'm going to use that more often. That is
good.
Wonderful. It sounds like the more I say it, the more people are going to react as if I was saying the word moist.
Raven Queen, take me now, please.
You will realize you are speaking to a being from the abyss.
Yep. That's what I've just said. Raven Queen, take me now, please.
They live for this stuff. Right. So that might make it easier. It might make it harder. It depends on the deity that did the schlorping. Oh, I'm loving this word. So, and depends on how powerful they are. Coincidentally, if they're quite powerful, especially if they're a multi-realm encompassing deity, they might not even notice, especially if it was a smaller deity that got schlorped. Now I'm just coming up with excuses to say that. Oh, it's glorious.
I hate you.
I mean, who is surprised that a librarian has found a new word and is playing with it? It's amazing.
Oh, I knew the word. I just hadn't thought of using it in this particular context.
Well, still, this is a new way to use, so...
Yes.
Yes.
It's wonderful. So you would just need... Ideally, you would need at least one follower of the new deity, a follower of the old dead deity, and some type of conduit to focus the energy.
What kind of conduit?
It can vary. In some cases, it's even been a living being, but not every living being would survive such a thing.
So we're talking murder. I can deal with that.
No, we are not talking murder.
Well, let's not get our hopes
really.
up. The rest
I
of the
don't-
party might pick a different option, but we
I'm-
can hold on to that as a strong plan A until we find a plan B that the rest of them want to do.
Okay,
I'm
if we are trying to kill a god, this is not murder. I mean, I think we are already playing.
I mean, it's deicide,
Well, yes, and dying
so
is murder,
which it's tech. Yes, murder. Yes, there's a lot of murder.
yes? Okay, so what is the difference?
I mean, the end.
So that's 3 votes for murder.
The difference
That is
is
0
if
votes
nothing
for
comes
murder.
out and grabs the
No, it's
portfolio
3 votes.
of the dead god, then a whole bunch of their followers just end up with no powers whatsoever. Well, depending on how much power's been doled out. If it's a lot,
not necessarily a bad thing.
well, it depends on how many people were depending on that amount of power. You can cause an awful lot of chaos by killing the right deity.
Why are we back onto the killing god?
That's,
Because it seems like the best option, and there are 3 people here who like that option. Just because you don't doesn't mean there aren't people here who do.
oh, I like all of these options.
I'm talking about 3 people in the party, not you.
No,
I
like,
feel incredibly
I'm
left
all
out.
for stabbing gods who think that it's okay to grab a bunch of people and start using them as resurrection jars, but we're getting back off the track, and the murder I said no to was murder for resurrecting a different god. We're not doing that. It would not work out well.
I mean, the
Depends on
Gaul
the
said it
god.
would work out just fine.
I mean, I'd be happy to murder people who follow Asmodeus, for example. That's not one we want to stick around.
I'm in favor of murdering any of the devils. That would be fantastic. I mean, wipe out the whole 9 hells. That'd be wonderful.
That will not be.
Just
Oh,
making
no, it
a
won't
point.
be easy.
There are certain gods and certain followers of certain gods who are just not good and are just detriments to mortal existence. So there's a line to everything, dear. Not everything's as black and white as good or evil.
You're absolutely right. I am totally in favor of you wiping out every single devil. They have been holding back the abyss since the dawn of, well, everything.
You have become less helpful in the last 30 seconds. You know that?
I'm immortal.
We were
Yes, it's
talking
been attempted.
about conduit. We were talking about conduits and them depending on what kind of god was being.
Oh, okay. We'll
Unsure.
get back to the slightly more boring topic. Fine. Well, so, living conduit, that can work if you find someone powerful enough and willing to die for the cause. Unwilling to die for the cause, it's a little bit more tricky. Also, there's the whole subduing them thing. That doesn't work out so well if they're powerful enough to deal with it. And looking at you, no offense, you're not quite there yet. So, you're probably looking at a non-living conduit, in which case, well, there were some elemental foci that were found a while back. Last I heard, they were locked in place in a cave in the Orklands. I assume they're still there. I haven't heard anything about it since then. Well, since we took off the last time anyway. Looking through this list here.
Out of character, are you talking about the thing the kobolds already took?
Yes.
Out of character, yes, you are
Out of
absolutely right.
character, he very
But
much is.
the Flying City left right before the kobolds came in and grabbed it.
Okay.
Well, a few things. So here's the thing. What do you know about liches?
That they're
The
best dead?
psychopath.
I heard 2 things that were sort of half true.
They're undead. They're
Yes, they are.
undead wizards.
They're undead wizards.
That is
who-
all I know.
who wanted immortality and power, so they got it by becoming liches.
Yes, by binding their soul into a phylactery, where even if they are destroyed, the phylactery brings them back. But in order to stay in that condition where they keep being brought back, they have to keep putting more souls in the phylactery. If you destroy it, well, The next time the Lich dies, that's pretty much it for them unless they can make a new one fast enough. More powerful Liches tend to bind themselves to more powerful phylacteries. You find an old enough Lich, take it down. Actually, might not need to take it down. You could probably use the phylactery as is. That might work as a focal point. That could probably do it. You could probably use that as a conduit. There's a few other things here. What do you know about orbs of dragon control?
Little to nothing.
They're a thing.
Okay.
I mean, no, I did not know they were a thing. I was asking whether they... I mean, obviously, they're apparently...
They're incredibly rare.
I know you referenced them 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
They're incredibly rare, and most times you hear about them, they're fakes. Which is fun when people find out they're fakes, because they usually find out the hard way. If you find a real one, they tend to be indestructible. They have to be, if they're supposed to be powerful enough to be able to control a dragon. They could probably do the job.
So far our options are a willing host, a lich, phylactery, or an orb of dragon control.
Well, those are 3 different possibilities. I'm trying to think of things that I've heard of existing on this world.
I still say murder is the best option.
Yeah, more and more the killer god thing seems easier.
Well, who's to say you can't do both? I mean, you bring a god back, they'll probably be grateful. Bring back a tough one, like a god of war or something. That'd be great.
Okay, so we are doing what exactly now?
Wait, who did you say was? I think it was Father. Who did you say was absorbed by Argonia?
Timora. Not all of Timora, apparently, but the part of Timora that was sent to this world did the same thing that a lot of other gods did, including Tyr, who I think that Rhine would like to say a few words to. Well, it didn't work out so well for Timora.
Why don't we try and bring Timora back?
Because we'd need a follower of Timora, and probably they're on another world.
If you found a follower of Timora on this world, they would probably at this point be powerless. You'd have to go somewhere else and get one.
Wait,
and that's not currently an option.
The follower of the old dead god would have to be active one.
Maybe we should make it an option. Let's do some research, find out what's locked our ability to transport between realms. Make it an option.
Well, if you insist, who wants to go on a field trip to the ethereal plane?
Why are we going to the ethereal plane?
Because you wanted to travel to another plane of reality, and that's kind of what we got.
Well, that's not what I said.
I think I just got very confused.
I've been confused throughout most of this conversation, honestly.
I haven't been listening to half of what you've been saying.
I'm not sure.
Would the follower of the old dead god have to be a normal mortal being?
I mean, flip through a few pages. It could work. Ideally, it would be a celestial being. Something from their
Okay,
realm.
excellent. I can do that. Probably. I can find one.
Right, so grab them and something that you can use as a focus, and we can probably do the ritual here. Well, not here, but in an open space with a larger blast radius.
So you don't want to take out the guy in the process, whatever.
Yes. And on that note...
So, very quickly, Ryan, are you talking about yourself?
No! Do I look like a... I mean, don't answer that, but do I look like a full celestial being? Do I have big glowy wings and
sometimes
eyes?
I mean,
out
not right
of...
this second.
You're significantly more celestial than the rest of us put together.
That's not accurate.
This is true, yes.
Were you thinking of Terry?
These two are elemental, and this one's,
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I'm about as much of a celestial being as Zuda is a water elemental. So,
I mean, I used to be an elf, now I'm apparently part water elemental, so that's not saying a lot.
Yeah, it's very true.
People keep assuming I was alive once. It's very insulting.
You find the idea that you used to be a living being insulting.
I've never not been a living being.
I'm not sure how to parse that, so I'll just leave it.
A celestial, an actual celestial who can help.
You're talking about Terry, aren't you?
Of course, they.
Would they be willing?
We could lie.
I
Not
don't know
wise
what
in
to
this
say to
case.
that. I can't think they wouldn't want to bring back the god they serve.
Well, let's put it this way. How about you sleep on it?
I was planning.
All right. And on that note, we're going to end it there for the evening. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight, we were joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Ellie, Io, Jen, Cindy. Arshbeth is hanging out in chat. Bolthera was hanging out in chat for a very brief amount of time. Miss him. Hope he comes back sometime. And brings a little angry gnome with him. Yes. So is there anything anyone wants to plug?
My mom writes books. You can find them at elizabeth-mccoy.com.
I do a nerd podcast with all the gaming things and the D&D and the things. You can find us at azerothctc.com.
My website is Book of Jen at bookofjen.net. It's got a bunch of gaming stuff on it and some other stuff. And I'm also the host of the Shattered Zone podcast, which is about mostly Diablo games. And you can find that at shatteredsoulstone.com.
And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Janatalock, Mickey, Shanshan, and Walter. So until next time, this is Crash saying, look, I have other pressing concerns right now. I know this is all very important, but I'm a little busy. Good night, everyone.
Gorga still votes for murder. Still votes for murder. Still votes for murder.